Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want to share a few thoughts that I think is very important. And so there's a lot of things that I really learned over my years of um, going to different seminars and meetings and groups, both within the church and both within work related environment. And I have learned a very specific thing that you need networking to get to the next level as a young person. As a person who is heavily connected in marketing and corporate sales, advertising, networking is very important. And so I can share that the level of the level of the level of independence, that I consider to be necessary to get to the next level as a human being, as an individual, as a man. You can't do it alone. You see, you need a lot of mentorship, you need training. And my issue today is that a lot of young people are relying on social interaction, social media, and these platforms to basically teach them something that they need tangible and physical person and connection to actually have them learn. And so one thing I've actually experienced in my life on a whole, coming up, growing up on the rough side, that if I wasn't making myself available for social interaction and then take that into physical connection with, again, um, people who have experienced the very thing that I am looking to experience. And so when I look at when I look at a lot of 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 young people today, they're feeling miserable because one, they don't have the mentorship that I think I have received. They don't have that social connection that they deem necessary because one, some of them live on their phone. They live on social media. So in other words, they are not living in the real world. They're living in a cybernetic world. But I am fully, I am very enthusiastic and fully aware of what is lacking. And I want to add my 2 cents of how we can get across this big ocean of issues. And so tonight, and so this evening, I want to touch on a few burning topics, burning issues that I think will be very uplifting and enlightening to someone somewhere. And so this live stream, I entitled it um, Preparing to Date. It's really a synopsis of a long list of other sub-headers. And this is the first in a few streams on this topic. What it is that you're preparing to date for? Why is it so important to prepare? And so preparation in a nutshell for me throughout my years of prepping is not preparing with the person. You're preparing yourself as an individual. And so today a lot of people they are trying to prepare with the individual already there. And so that's distraction. That doesn't work. It never works. You see, the mainstream narrative is you social what do you call this now? So for example, a lot of people will go to college and throughout their college year, college can be stressful and everybody knows that. And so throughout college, they do a lot of casual meetups, casual hookups, as they would say, casual flings. And what they don't understand, emotionally speaking, that destroys you emotionally. Because whether you like it or not, whether you're doing a one night or a quickie, there's social connection. There is emotional connection. The human being is an emotional creature, is a social creature. And so today, when I look at what is lacking, I see how I can assist with a few reasoning on this topic. And so if you look at the narrative of the mainstream, they're telling young people that you can do what you want, especially women. They are being lied to. They're telling them you can do what you want, you can live how you want to live, and get a degree and come back and the world owes you whatever. But no, this is real life, ladies and gentlemen. This is the world owes you and us nothing. There's no guarantee. Everything has to be trial and done and experience. There is no guarantee. So if you look at what they deem to be dating or what they deem preparation for dating, is that how I look at the whole thing is that the best way to prepare for something is to know oneself. And this is something that is not being taught in a general setting, in a holistic setting, especially in the broader, wider community at large. Young people are not being mentored. They're being left on their own, especially single parent home. So they're not getting the foundation information on how to relate. Relating skills are poor, self esteem is low, and most time, 10 out of 10, they are thrown into a situation where they're going to go to college and nobody prep them, nobody encourage and enlighten them on what to study. So at least they would have some sense of idea what exactly would make sense in a world, what is missing in the world, what can I come and be intuitive and contribute to the world. Don't most of them just go off to college and come back. They waste a lot of time, and I'm saying this is logical. They waste a lot of time. Come back and whatever they study, can't find a job. I mean, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that I can use my scenarios. I've got a lot of mentorship. But through it all, what I deem most necessary is that I applied myself to experience, to skill. I learned from the um the winners. I look at people who have been married. I look at people who are successful in their um, professional life, and those are the people I emulate. Because I mean, how can you take advice from somebody who have no experience in what they're telling you? So when I look at this topic, preparing to date, young people today are dating but not prepared for what it presents. And so as I look at what some one of my favorite authors, God rest his soul, it goes to say young people all over the world, regardless of the culture, share at least one thing in common: the challenges of growing into a successful adult. And that is to say, having leave parents' house and peers and the peer pressures of grade school leading into college life. Everybody wants to fit in. Everybody wants to become. Everybody wants to belong. But one thing they have not fully taken into consideration is that out there is not lenient. You're going to go into the real world. No one is going to give you a free pass because you're young. Once you consider yourself that you're going into an adult stage, you are now open for all the licks and the pitfalls and also the upliftments if you're willing to do the work. And so every society has its own custom in this regard, certain rites of passage through which this youth must navigate successfully in order to be recognized as a mature human being. And so responsible men and women in the Western countries, one of the most common society, one of the most common socially significant of these customs is dating. They have this thing about dating, and I mean, a lot of them take dating out of context because dating for most people are really like casual hookups. As I said, they're not really dating, learning about themselves, learning about the other person. They quickly run into what emotion and so and the body bring. So the time they would need to know each other, know themselves. By your queen, most of these people they're single mother, they're single parent, and so that shows you that they're not really dating. It's a word being sugarcoated that is cover up to make it seems that they're doing something right or something good. But remember, the devil is in the detail. If you slip and you slide and whatever you do in secret is exposed openly. The Bible explains that. So the word dating comes from the idea of setting a date where two people or more, if on a group date, agree to get together at a certain time and place for recreation and fellowship. Now you see how that comes off. That doesn't say anything about sleeping together. That says anything about hooking up. That says you can have a group, you can have two people, social fellowship, recreation, something of getting to know yourself and getting to know somebody else, know the other party. And it can be more than one. So today, if they would stop the lying, stop going around making it seem like you're trying to do the right thing. We already know what we want because from home, everybody's on social media, they're hooking up, they're making plans, they're talking to people on the phone, and they're doing all these manner of things from their bedroom in their parents' house. So by the time they go, they already would have been so deeply involved in most bad activity, if not the worst of activities. And so I am trying to appeal to young people. Stop it. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's going to destroy the fabric of society. It has already been a big problem, but we're talking about the future. Where will the future be if all these lies is not stopped? College campus has become a whorehouse. It has been a arms house. It is a place that you send your child, a nice, decent kid, you send your kid, and by the first semester your kid come back home, you don't know who your child is. And so what is causing this? One, we know the home has to take responsibility. But again, when you send your child off to college, you're no longer in control of what your child does because now your child is in a setting linking, clinking and linking with other kids from different society and different walks of life. And most of them are boarding on campus. And so now you see it's another world out there. But if the child moral are not in place to understand the difference between lies or truth, trick and games, and doesn't take life serious and know that look, I'm paying for your tuition to go to school and this is what we would hope that you become. But you go and you when you went off, you don't come back. You come back as someone else. And so I am appealing that don't use the word dating if you're just doing casual sex. Because then you belittle the word, you lower your standard, and guess what? Nobody wins. So watch this. Dating is an important vehicle in our culture for giving young people, men and women, the opportunity to get to know one another in a social, acceptable way. What is the problem? Why are we not doing that? Why is that so hard? Why are we not getting to know people in a socially acceptable manner? We know, because we know exactly how to procreate, we know exactly how to carry on bad. And this is the devil's plight on mankind. If you think you can hide and lick, play the fool, and escape, well, let me tell you, there is no escape. No one will be spared. You put in the work, you get the result. You do the time, you get the result. You do the crime, you get the result. So that's just plain and simple. Whatever you put in, if your email don't get it back, you get something near to it or worse. So there's really no guarantee in doing good, but 10 out of 10. Those who have put in the work, pay in the time, pay attention, at least when they fall to the low of the tick of the tin, they can at least bounce back up because you're not down there with a baggage. I see a lot of young people today. I am listening to my friend on his channel, and I'm telling you, Kevin Samuel, man, I gotta really take my hats off to you, brother. But you see, everybody don't have to like a brother, and it's not even about the color. 'Cause you would say, well, he touched some good point, and a few other people who are white, and I'm saying, look, I look at it this way: good is not popular, my friend. In this world, not everything is falling apart. Right doing is not popular. You're trying to tell people the truth, and the truth is offensive, but it's not a sin because most people don't want to hear the truth. The truth is too much for them. They accept the lie, they appreciate the lie so much. Telling them the truth is really offensive. But whose fault is that why you're offended with the truth? Suck it up. Suck it up. Because look, the truth is gonna come out anyway you take it. Whether you're gonna lose a foot or a hand or a eye or lose your life, the truth will find its way to the surface. So might as well you deal with it. Because whether you're alive or dead, it's still gonna come out. Somebody gonna present the truth and the world not have to prepare. They don't have to want it, but it's still gonna come. I myself am a product of that system. I couldn't lie to myself growing up and say, okay, you're gonna get a free pass because you grew up in the home or whatever. No, 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 no. Listen, the way the world works, and this is experience. There is a mentor and a moderator who have been there before you. And if you're young, whether they are your parents or your family member, they are just placed there by God to say and to tell you not and how to do. If you have a choice to pay attention or not, because look, God does not. No, we have not been left alone. We might think we're alone, but we're not. There's always somebody out there looking out for us. There's an angel in disguise. And so I'm saying to young people today, stop fooling yourself. You cannot escape because sin is the transgression of the law and it is written in our heart. So we know right from wrong. And because of that, nobody's spared from the harshness and the punishment that the world brings. So as I look into the manner in which they use dating out of context, although dating as we know it today, is not a scriptural concept, it nevertheless has become thoroughly embedded as a social norm. From a sociological standpoint, dating trend and practice indicate overall societal health. Because the way people behave while dating usually reveal how they will behave when married. It's not. The way you behave in dating constitute how you behave in marriage. Some people not paying attention miss the signs. Habits, attitude, and that are established during the dating years generally carried over into marriage. I can use that as my and in my situation. I never come with unrealistic expectation from my wife. I met my wife. I can see where she was, her weaknesses and her strengths. I work with it, and I'm fine. And in spite of everything today, I mean, it's all good because at the end of the day, I can't make over anyone. You accept somebody their personality, you have to deal with it. And so you pray, as a man that always to pray. And so when I look at it, I have won the battle. I've won the battle because I didn't go in with any unrealistic expectation that I must get some superwoman or, you know what I mean, angel in the mercy. You work with the situation as it unfolds. And that's just how it is. You have to be loving, you have to be willing to compromise, you have to be, you know, it's not for everyone because some people are selfish. And if you're selfish, marriage not for you. Not for you. Because what if the person take 10 years to clean up? What are you gonna do? Throw them under the bus? No. You work with the situation, keep God close, listen to the voice of God, and let me tell you, there's nothing and no one that anticipate having God to fight their battles don't come out on top. They always come out on top. As important as dating, as important as dating is in our society. However, questions remain in the mind of both parents and young people alike. What exactly is dating? What is the purpose? When is a person ready to date? What guidelines are appropriate for dating? And so those are a myriad of questions that is being asked. Relationship. These are important questions that deserve solid answers. And so the answers are hard to come by if you're asking the wrong person. Understanding dating is essential not only for teenagers and their parents, but also for older, newly single people who, because of divorce and widowhood, are re entering the dating scene. I mean, if I give my thoughts on that, is that I don't believe in marriage and divorce. I don't. The Bible clearly states that the person has to die. Once the person is alive, To me, no. And so I don't. What I learned, a lot of people they set themselves up in such a way as if they're making provision for a second marriage while in the first marriage, and that's when I believe the problem is. You're not yet out of one, and you're already dabbling into another. That's a recipe for disaster. And so that's just my views, my take. I really can't talk for anyone else. I just know that I wouldn't have an intention to try and marry somebody. The emotional connection is too great. The, the whole scenario surrounding a person's relating to another person is too much to carry. And maybe it's just how I grow. I just don't believe in the interaction too much with people. Nah, it's not necessary. Since this world is gonna pass away and all this stuff here is temporal, as Solomon says, vanity. Why should I keep going further and further into confusion and drama? So I just stay clear of all that. I don't have those kind of connection. No. I stay away from any such thing that would hamper, hinder me to make bad decisions. I stay deep in work. And so habits and attitude established during dating years generally carry over into marriage. Right? One of the most common questions that parents and their teenager children ask is, "Oh, oh, yes, yes, ma'am. How old should come on now,
Sorry, you know anything about this?
come on now." So me try do one thing about. I
You know anything about
try
this?
do one thing about. How we can pause it? How we can probably have to edit. You see me do it now? I try to one little live stream. I have to one little prepare dating. I mean, have the topic I may have, but ah boy, in stream. Let me see what I say. I see him